Hello, ladies, and welcome to Painting with Rob Boss. Yes, we're here today to do a painting. It's going to be easy, it's going to be simple, it's going to be the easiest thing you've ever done this week. Alright, so what we're going to do, I'm going to show you all our tools that we're using today. First, it's our canvas. So what we're painting today, you can actually use any orientation that you want. So the vertical or horizontal orientation is up to you. I'm going to use the horizontal, which is the landscape orientation. So that's our canvas. This is our palette. So our palette that we'll be using would just be a simple paper plate, but what I have here is just a palette that I've been using for a while. So what colors that we have on our palette, this is all the simple primary colors. We got red, blue, yellow, and we have white and black on our palette. So other than that, just have a simple cup with water, and that's how we're going to clean our brushes. And speaking of our brushes, and that's what I have in my hand right here. Right now I have a large, medium, and small brush. Now you may have a larger brush, which I'm hoping I'll provide for you. So there should be a larger one than this. And the larger one is just going to help you cover more area. But with these three brushes, you should be able to do everything that I show you here today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what we're going to do right on this canvas. Now you can choose any colors that you want. Now what I'm using is just the primary colors, so I may mix some colors to get a different color, but I'm probably not. I'm just going to do it simple, do it easy. Shouldn't take us very long, but I want to just show you certain tips and techniques to kind of help you along with finish this painting. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is going to take our large to medium sized brush. Hope you can see this here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in our blue, and we're just going to start out simple with the simple blue color. And so we're going to go around the edges here. And usually when we're using paint right out of the container, it's not a big deal. Most people kind of speak against it. I say whatever. If it's cool with you, it's cool with me. But we're really just gonna take our blue all the way around. And the paint that we're using is acrylic paint. Acrylic paint dries very quickly, so we don't really have to worry about waiting for the paint to dry in between using the colors that we're going to use. Sometimes though, we do have to allow some drying time in between layers. You can kind of see the paint brush strokes in this blue that I'm using right now, and that's kind of okay. Like I said, most of the time we will go back and do another coat on that, so that's fine. But now that we got the blue all the way around, we're going to dip into our white a little bit. We're just going to, it's fine, you can keep the blue right on your brush, but we're going to make a little lighter blue and just kind of mix that in. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to blend once we get those two colors on. So just keep bringing a little more white into the middle of the brush. And right now it's blending a little bit, but we're going to blend it a little more. But initially we just want to get the paint on the canvas. So just keep going back and forth, getting more and more white. And really, you taking the white and you're blending it in the middle of the palette here. So just take all your colors and take it to the middle so you won't dilute whatever color that you're mixing it in. Alright, so we're getting a lot of blending going on here. Now before we get too light, we want to come back to the outside here, and we just kind of want to blend that a little more and blend it a little better. And as you can see, we getting a nice little mix there on that outside edge, and that's looking pretty good. So we're just blending out that white into the blue, and we're going from light to dark. So if we go to dark to light, we will bring that dark color into our light color, which we don't want to do. We want to bring our light color into our dark color, and that helps out a lot more than going the other way. So, and even if you have a paper towel or something handy, you kind of want to wipe off the excess, because what I was going to do is go from dark back into light, and I don't want to do that. I want to take that light color and I want to keep going and blending it out to the dark. So every time you get all the way to that dark blue, kind of wipe off the excess and go back into your light color, and just keep mixing light into dark. And even if you accidentally bring some of that dark color into your light, just go back to your palette, get some white, and kind of blend it back out. So that's all we're doing. Just blending. Now I kind of like how that's looking. So we're going to go and get some more white, because what I want to do here, I want to kind of blend this all the way into a pure white. Now y'all see that I haven't cleaned out my brush yet, and we still getting a kind of clean color there. So you don't have to really concern yourself about cleaning your brush really. if you just wiping off that excess paint. So just kind of wipe it off, keep rolling. Wipe off the excess, keep rolling. So in that middle, you're going to get like a pure white. Alright, so that's how we're looking so far. Now I want to go ahead and clean my brush out. So cleaning your brush out, you take it to the very bottom of the cup, swirl it around in a circle. You shouldn't have very much water in your cup. Should be halfway, quarter way, depending on how messy you are. I'll say halfway. That's pretty good. So you swirl it at the very bottom, and you just kind of push the brush to the side of the cup. Get all the excess out. I'm not afraid to get my hands a little messy, so I kind of squeeze out the water. Then I have this nice looking towel. It's not nice looking at all, but paper towel will work. Just dry it off. And you want your brush to be dry, because if you have a soaking wet brush and you go back to your canvas, that water will run and it will ruin what you already put on to your canvas. So now we got this going on. What I want to do is maybe add a little more color. So we got the white and the blue going. So let's go in here and let's add, let's add some yellow. So in that circle here, let's go and just put in a nice little circle shape. We're doing all this freehand, so no big deal. Got a nice little yellow. So we're going to go back to our white, kind of dab that in the middle. Alright, wipe off the excess, go back to your yellow. Add a little more color to get a little more vibrant. Alright, that's looking good. Just set that brush in the cup. Now, I want to map out what my subject is going to be. So I left this area a little blank. So now I'm going to take my black color and I'm going to go in and I'm going to start kind of sketching out what my subject is going to be. And at this time, this paint here is already dry. So that little time that we spent kind of blending everything in, that's dried already. So you're going to see what the subject is going to be in a second. So I'm just kind of freehanding this. we're going to go back and we're going to fill all of this in. So we're just kind of getting the basic shape here. So we can kind of go back in and adjust something if we don't like it. I didn't like that shape of it, so we're gonna go back. Alright, so we're gonna go back to our bigger brush and start filling this in. And when you're filling in larger areas, you can load your brush up a lot more, so you won't have to keep going back and forth. And everything that we're doing is not technically difficult. You're just putting brush, paint to canvas. So like right there, I made a little mistake. That's okay. Just kind of smooth the lines out a little and keep going. Now this particular style of painting is not very difficult. The silhouettes that I use, y'all probably notice I've used them a lot. And my past paintings, it's kind of simple sometimes. So this is how we're looking so far at this point. So we have our subject in, just kind of roughed her in a little bit. We can go back and touch up some spots. But we're just going to go from here. We've painted just a simple black line up to our circle that we made in the middle of the canvas. Just kind of going over a few little spots there. Cleaning up my lines. Cleaning up some spots that I probably missed. That's fine. We can go back and clean them up once the paint's dry a little more. So I'm going in with my medium-sized brush. Make that line a little more thicker. Maybe add a small little leaf here. Go up here, maybe add another one. Just a tiny one right there. Maybe the two are a little lonely, so get a little homey at the bottom here. Alright, so clean that medium-sized brush out, and what we're going to do, we're going to go into our red color, just kind of load up our brush, and let's kind of start here at the bottom. Just put a little simple flower petal here at the bottom. Painting is essentially all about shapes. I haven't sketched anything out, just kind of freehand in here. Just freehand some simple shapes in. Doesn't have to be very difficult. I would say this is like maybe a teardrop shape. Kind of starting at the circle. Just going outside to the edge. If you're not necessarily happy with the shapes, just go back and clean them up a little bit. I wasn't necessarily happy with how those bottom ones turn out. Just go in, make them a little larger, whatever. Alright, so now she's blowing on the flower here, so let's give ourselves a little floating petal. Maybe let's add another one closer to the flower. And these are just all random shapes. You don't have to make them necessarily look exactly the same. So make big ones, small ones. Just kind of putting different pressure on your brush. Make a small one, maybe show that one's off in the distance. It's kind of blowing away. Alright. So now let's take our small brush here. Kind of give some detail here to these small petals. Maybe put an outline around our circle that we made. A lot of times if your paint isn't moving very easy, maybe add a little water to it. Just a little bit, and it helps it glide a little more. Alright, so we got our petals, we got our flower, we got our silhouette here, and maybe we can go touch a little black up into our flower petal color, and I've mixed that, just a little touch of black, and mixed it with a red, made like a little burgundy maroon color. So we're gonna go in and maybe put some shadows to this flower petals. So nothing too crazy. We're just adding a little detail. Give it a little dimension. Maybe go to the top. Do one on the bottom. This one's further away, so maybe do a lot on that one. Go in here to these petals right there. And this is just all up to you. You don't necessarily have to do it, but just giving some interest, since we did the silhouette here for our subject, and she's all black or whatever color you used. We're just giving some interest here to our flower petals, giving them some dimension. Filling in some mistakes too, maybe. If you added too much black, right, go back in with your petal color. Just kind of mix it in right there on the canvas. No big deal. Alright, we see how much that gives it a little more interest there. Alright, so maybe last thing I want to do here is maybe put a little more shape to these petals. Wash that brush out. And our black color here is probably a little more dry now, so I can go in, clean that up some. Alright, I'm digging how that looks. And I'll say that's a finished painting. So here, let me sign my name. Alright, so what we worked on is just kind of blending in colors. You could probably blend it in a little more, bring your color in more before you actually work on your subject. Maybe sketch that out some. That's what I usually do. Just kind of sketch that out before I actually get it actually going. We just kind of freehand everything today. Made it easy. But if it's easier for you to sketch it out to make it say I want her here, or whatever person that or subject matter that you want, and work from the outside in, you can do it that way. But that was pretty simple, pretty easy. I actually kind of like it. Pretty good for a short amount of time. But hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you're doing a great job on yours. If you want to work on yours a little longer, add a little more detail, go right at it. Thanks for painting with me.